I guess we can start with the session now, and meanwhile, the people would join. Ankita, you can hear me, right?
Yes,
Yes,
Harshita,
Harshita,
yes.
yes.
Great. So, thank you everyone for joining in. And hi, Ankita. Today's session is about technical writing and open source. So, yes, Ankita, how are you?
I'm doing good. I do not have a very big presentation. I mean, I might just take 10 to 15 minutes. I wanted it to be an open ended session where maybe I can answer more questions than just presenting a few slides. So
Right. So
that's the agenda.
it will be an interactive session.
Cool, cool.
Right. So I guess we can start with a brief introduction of yours, and then we can go forward with the slides and questions.
Sure,
Sure,
awesome.
awesome.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
my name is Amrita. I started my career as a Java developer and I shifted to full time writing. And while exploring the kinds of writing, I stumbled upon this technical writing somehow. And since then, it has stuck with me because it is a different kind of writing style, which also needs a lot of exposure in India, maybe. So that's when I started being a technical writer. And currently, I'm working with Google as a community manager for their developer UGC program. And we are building this program from scratch. So this is something extremely exciting for me as well. So, yeah, this is what I do. And yeah, so I think, yeah.
You have the access of changing the slides, right?
Oh, cool, cool. Yes, I do. Awesome. So I think a lot of people ask this question to me that what exactly is technical writing and as well open source? Because we always associate open source with the coders, developers, and everyone, but there is a very less percentage of people who know that open source can also be a very big and a great opportunity for tech writers. So, what technical writers do is they write about, if I may define that, there are two kinds of technical writers. One who write about the products, be it software or hardware, and the other kind writes the instruction guides and something like that. So I have always worked as a product technical writer where I love getting involved with a scratch of the product. How is it? How the product is working? What are the features? How exactly is it working? And when you understand the entire context of a product, and then you start writing about it, simplifying it for your audience, for your users. And the second kind is when you start writing the installation guides, the manuals, and everything else. So, suppose if you just bought a fridge, LG fridge at your home, and but you do not know how to install this. So, that's what technical writers do. They make you understand that where to put the switch, where is the socket, how do you install a fridge. So these are the two kind of technical writers. I've always been involved with the first kind and not the second one. So okay. So I have given so many sessions on technical writing that I think a lot of people might get that we got enough of this topic. So this is a gift that that relates what exactly technical writers do. That yes, mom, click that round blue thingy at the bottom of the screen because that's what technical writers do. So if I want to make anything understand to my mom that this is how phone works or this is how a feature on the phone works, so how I explain it to my mom is exactly how I'll explain it to my readers. So this is what tech writers do. And so this is what you do, providing instructions, simplifying stuff, as I told, proper language and grammar, extreme transparency, and blunt talk. So why do I emphasize more on proper language and grammar is because I have also given interviews for big MNCs, or not that many, but there was a time when I gave a technical writer test for Google, I think last year. And this is the point that they emphasized the most on was, your grammar, even in your resume, should be like to the point. There has to be not even a single mistake of a comma or a full stop. And this was extremely intriguing. So that's when I started realizing that how important it is to have proper language and grammar while you are writing for technical stuff. Why do I say extreme transparency is because suppose if you are providing instructions for a product to someone, and imagine you just forget to tell them that, if you delete this contact, this is going to be permanently deleted. And if they don't know, they'll always assume that there is a control Z, there is always an undo option for everyone. So that's why you need to maintain extreme transparency, that even when you click delete, you have to explain it to the user that if you click delete, this is going to be permanently removed. And that's what transparency means. So you have to be extremely transparent with your users, with your audience. And the last point is having blunt talk. That why do I call it blunt talk is that's what I mean by being to the point. That this is how you do, click this, navigate to this, and that's what you'll see. So you cannot write in a extreme creative manners, you cannot extend the number of words in a sentence, and that's what I mean by blunt talk. And now, if people would ask that what is open source is, I would say that whatever software we are using right now, or whatever product that we use right now, somewhere uses open source tech stack. Somewhere something is always available for free, which is there out there on GitHub. There are so many repositories that are in open. You can just copy those repositories, use it as you want, and that is what developers do. So that is not something that writers would do, but even technical writers can explore that part by just navigating to GitHub and seeing that. Now imagine, suppose I created one product tomorrow and I have put that out for the world to use, but the main problem arises when no one knows how to use it, right? So suppose I have created a chatbot and I want the world to know about it, but no one knows how to use it. Then what is the use of that product, right? So exactly why technical writers are needed, that when there is a project or a software or a product that is openly available, then go pitch to them that what, your product is great, but I don't think so that you have a proper documentation or a readme file, so let me just write for you. And sometimes these can be volunteer free work, and sometimes it can be paid work. So when I talk about volunteering free work, what do I mean is that you are getting an expertise on a product, which is not exactly free. Even I have done a lot of free work, but not, spending this on some random internship. But this is my time and resource that I've invested in something which I know can add to my resume. So that's what I've done with open source projects. Moving ahead is top things that technical writers actually should focus on is structuring the content. I think this is the most important thing is how do you actually structure your content. And currently, I think when I was working with the project, I realized that there is so much content that is repetitive, and it is not very specific to technical writers, but it is very specific to writers in general. That structuring your content, even when I post on LinkedIn, I emphasize a lot on this, that more than your words, your structure matters when you're writing an article. So how does that flow and what is the structure is extremely important. Second is defining user personas. So you have to be extremely specific. If you're writing for customers, if you're writing for new users, if you're writing for developers, if you're writing for experienced users. So defining user personas helps you divide your write-up. And again, as I tell this, I'm telling you that this is not very specific to technical writing. This is, in general, writers should focus on user personas. And I've already talked about the flow. The fourth point is working code blocks. I have seen so many times when you are randomly trying to make some code blocks work from if I want. So suppose I reach to a product documentation and I'm trying to install their tool onto my desktop, but their code block is not working. Imagine what a loss that is. That is a loss of one customer. So in order to avoid that, you should always extremely focus on if the sorry. So code block is imagine I think you must be familiar with terminal. right? What we have on Mac or Windows, where we run our commands. So if we want to install something, we need to have proper code blocks. That is, code block means where the code is written. A block which consists the code, that if you run that code, that tool or software starts working. That's what code blocks means. So you have to make sure first running that onto your on your PC. Suppose you're working with APIs. Now, again, I'm assuming that my like right now, I'm assuming that my audience is not very familiar with APIs, maybe. So I'm not going to go in extreme. I'm not going to go in extreme explanatory part of it. But if you are working with APIs, so make sure that the APIs that you are representing on your website, first run that on Postman or any other tool that you have, right? It should not be like the API that you have presented on website is not even working. So make sure it keeps working, it's not obsolete and all those things. So that's what I mean by working code blocks. And the fifth is the readability test. This is one of the most important part where we write technical documentation, but we miss out on this piece that if it is even understandable by the audience. And one way to test it is running a Flesch readability test. I think many of you might be familiar with Flesch Knaset readability test. And when you start running that test, you realize that if your reading score is somewhere which is understandable by the 11th standard or 5th standard student, and if it is understandable by a 5th standard student, that means it passes your test. That means this is understandable by the maximum audience. And if it keeps on increasing, that's when you know, oh, that's great to know that Grammarly gives that score too. I didn't know that. So if that is how you can understand your content, it's the best feedback maybe. So that's what I think we should focus on. And last, I would talk about the opportunities, because I think I'm ready to talk about it, that you can work in big organizations. You can actually switch to DevRel. I'm not going to go again into a lot of explanatory context with what is DevRel and everything, because that would require a separate session on it. But when I talk about big organizations, I mean every single organization on this earth is actually looking for technical writers. And especially from India, I would say there is a dearth of technical writers. I have been told by the team at Google that they have been looking for technical writers for over a year, and still they haven't found anyone who can match to their expectations. And it's just not Google. They're Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Adobe, every organization is looking for technical writers. So, if you want to switch to technical writing, this is like, I think, the prime time to switch to technical writing, because you're going to learn, you're going to love it if you really like it. So this is a good time. Second, when I talk about switching to DevRel full form is developer relations, and that involves a mixture of talking to developers and also writing. So when you talk to developers, that involves a lot of networking, which is my third point, that is community management. So, you can actually build a community of tech writers, developers, and everyone, talk to them, and then write your stuff. So you can, again, why I'm saying developer relations, because every other organization is again looking for community managers or developer advocates, as they call them. So this is again a very good field where you can switch if you like networking. Fourth is copywriting. Why do I say copywriting? Now you may say that, technical writing is so different than copywriting. Obviously, it is different. But when you start working as a tech writer, you are so used to writing precise, concise sentences that automatically that helps you in copywriting as well. So, copywriting means writing concise content, explaining something in 40 words or less or something like this. So somehow technical writers make you build that portfolio in copywriting as well. So if you have that creative knack, this would help you. Then next is open source contributor. As I've already explained, that you can just write for any open source product, software or hardware. And the last is GSOD. I would explain this. This GSOD full form is Google Season of Docs. this is a competition by Google, which was launched 2 years back, where they select some of the open source organizations who are in need of good documentation. So they present those, they display those organizations on their homepage. And those organizations, as tech writers, you can actually pitch to those organizations that, you know what, I actually like your product. I think I can write documentation for you. And when you pitch it to them, they'll obviously receive thousands of applications, and then they select one or two tech writers for themselves. And once you get selected, you get a very good stipend for working over a period of 3 months. And if you are good at it, you even receive a stipend of $10,000. And you do not have that much work as well, because I was selected this year. And so I can say that you do not have a lot of work per week. Even if you give 6 to 7 hours, I think that's enough. And I think you can work over weekends to get that, and the stipend is good, plus it looks good on your resume. So that's it. I think I've been talking a lot. So that's the end of my slides, guys. Any questions, I would be happy to take that up.
Hi, Ankita. Uh, can you hear me, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
The session was amazing. Like the presentation was to the point and very useful. And now we have many questions with us. So can we start with the
Sure.
questions?
Yes, 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 sure.
The first one is the most obvious one, that can a person with no computer science degree or tech background be a technical writer?
Yeah, this question, I get this question in every session.
That's a
And
obvious, right?
yeah, exactly. And that's a good question, because when we hear or read the word technical, we automatically get the image that, you know, you should know hardcore coding, you should be some very, you know, ethical hacker or some kind of person. But it's not necessary to have a degree in computer science or a tech background to be a tech writer. What I would say is, if you really have the knack for products, like suppose you really want to learn about products, how do they work, you want to get involved in the product team. I'll tell you one more thing, that maximum technical writers are involved in the product team. So whenever a new feature even launches, before even the launch, you are involved in the process. That this is a feature that we are working on, and your suggestions are actually taken in. So again, that's why I like this field so much, because I am a hardcore product lover. That I like being involved in the product. So if you are also someone like that, and you know that you can write well, so just give it a shot. I'm talking about full time. These things that I'm talking is totally full time, working with startups and companies. But if you're also talking about freelancing, then also I think freelancers, what do? We actually do not create, we curate content, right? So even if you're given something to write upon, like I was given a topic to write on AI, and I have no, you know, freaking knowledge about what how AI works, and that was the concept of Moneyball in AI. And I didn't know that there is the baseball game was actually there was a movie as well some time back, that was that how AI helped in making that Moneyball game. So I learned about that. There are so many resources available on Google. You start learning about, okay, what is Moneyball, how is it working, you start learning about the concepts, and that's when you just try to put those points in an article which is understandable by even a naive user. So exactly, my point is, to the answer to your question is, if you have the love for products, tech, you will be amazing in this field. That's my answer.
Right. So also he asked that if yes, that how can we start? From where to start exactly?
Okay, that is a good question. So, where do you want to start? Is I started as a full time worker. Okay, so this happened to me extremely randomly, that I was just selected as a tech writer. That's when I started learning things. But if you want, you can start presenting yourself as a tech writer, which I do. I think on LinkedIn as well, I write on so many topics, but people still remember me as a technical writer. So start writing technical stuff maybe on Medium is a excellent platform. So it is free as well. And if you suppose, now I'll give you an example, this again, Moneyball in AI. So there are a lot of topics that are available. Similarly, or you want to write about a product, that how does Spotify work, suppose, okay? So just start writing about how does Spotify work, and what are the features, and give an in-depth explanation about that product. So when you write about it and publish it on Medium, and start reaching out to people who are actually looking for technical writers, and that's how you start building a niche. So this is, I think, this is applicable to any niche. That this is how you should begin. Start writing for free on some platforms, and then try pitching yourself as a tech writer.
Okay, hope it answers the question. The next question is, what is the difference between product description writer or copywriter and technical product writer?
Okay, I am again going to tell you that I don't talk a lot in these terminologies because I think they have divided us too technically. But I would say that uh, the product description writer that you're saying is actually what technical writers do. And there might be some people who might not agree, but I'll tell you, even so, I have worked with a company, with an e-commerce company, where it was a B2B business. Okay. So what we used to do was, we had a platform, we had a search platform, what Amazon has when you search on. So we had a search platform, and businesses who used to use our search platform had to write a lot of things. One amongst that was product description writer. So suppose if you, so Nykaa was our client. Now, if Nykaa is using our product, whatever products Nykaa is having needs a description. And even that is what tech writers do. That explaining a product in very simple words, and so that it's also catchy while it's also different. So that's exactly what technical writers do. And if you are saying that technical product writer and product description writer is the same thing. Now, if we come to copywriter, I didn't want to include that point, frankly, but I just used it because you can do it. I don't want to indulge a lot in what copywriting is, but it is extremely different than technical writing. I just included that part because I want to tell you that if you become very, what do we say, extremely good at technical writing, you can be a good copywriter as well, because you have to write in lesser words. But I don't want to include that part here. And to answer your next question, can a technical writer be or also be a SaaS writer? I do not really understand the question. What do you mean by a SaaS writer? I mean, are you saying that can we write for software products, or can we write for software? What is exactly is the question?
So basically, SaaS is software as a service, right? So
Yeah.
we'll ask the question. Hi, Souvik, can you able to speak? Are you able to speak? Yes, Souvik. We can't hear you.
It's okay. I think we can take his question last. Um, let's move on. What's the next question? I think what is
Okay,
code
there is a
blog is already.
question.
Yeah.
There's a question. Can you provide an example of documentation and how to back GSOT clients?
Sorry. I didn't get the question. What is it?
Can you provide an example of documentation and how to bag clients, like you said about the Google season of dogs? So how to bag those
Okay. Example of documentation is there are a lot of examples. If you open any website, okay, I'll say any website because everyone has the documentation for themselves. So suppose if you open Mercedes Benz, right, and if you open their website, you'll find that even they have a documentation, because how do cars work and everything, how do APIs work for them, even they have a documentation. So if you open any website, they'll have a documentation. So suppose if you are working with React.js, I think they have one of the best documentations, like starting with React.js. Or if you want to open Google developers, so they have a documentation. So any product, even if you like Cred, suppose I'll take an extremely easy example. If you like Cred, even Cred has a documentation. So when you open their website, um, there will be a column where it would be written as docs or developer docs or documentation, anything like that. So even they have a documentation. So when you open that, you'll realize, okay, they have installation, they have features. So that is what documentation contains. And if you're talking about GSOD is a competition. This is not for like bagging clients, but in this competition, you will see the list of clients already. So there is a link. I'll paste that link here, and that's how you'll know. 1 minute. Yeah. So this is the link. And when you open this link, so this is actually a competition which happens yearly. So this has a timeline to it. So there is a timeline of a month where open source projects apply. There is a timeline where they get selected, and then there is a timeline of 1 month where technical writers pitch to these open source, organizations. So you can see, when you click this, you can see a list of open source organizations, and that's how you can just, and they also have a link to how to contact them. So they have email IDs, they have Slack channels or anything, and you can just directly go and say, hey, I really liked your organization, I want to write for you. And they'll say, okay, can you just suggest us what is wrong with the documentation and how can you improve it? So I really like this process, because this is exactly how every website work should also work. And when you just write a proposal and send it to them, if you get selected, that's how you bag your GSOD client.
I hope it answers the question.
I can answer it even on DMs, because this might need
Yeah.
a very well explanation.
Maybe you can put your LinkedIn ID here and people
Oh,
can connect
yeah,
with you and they can ask the questions.
sure.
Okay, there is a question also, like not related to content writing, but yeah, can I post the same article or content on two different platforms, like in a form of LinkedIn article and a blog post? Will that
Oh,
be okay?
definitely. Yeah, I mean, if there is no, legal thing attached to it, that if you're writing for an organization, so suppose if I'm working full time with an organization, I cannot write blogs for them and then post something related to that on my LinkedIn. That's not how it works, because they always have some guidelines and everything. So that's what you cannot do. But again, that's what ghostwriters also do, that if you're writing for some client, you cannot just post their content on your LinkedIn. So that's not what you can do. But if someone is okay with it, I think that should work fine.
Okay. So yeah, if one wants to shift from content writing to technical writing with a technical education background, how can they how can they shift, and blogs on technical topics count as do blogs on technical topic count as technical writing?
Yes, definitely. So anything that you write on technology counts as technical writing. But I'll tell you again, the difference between blogs that we write, right, and the documentation that we write is different. And that's when user personas come into picture. That when you're writing blogs on technical topics, you're writing it for the normal audience. So if I want to explain how Spotify works, there is going to be two different kinds of articles for developers who are trying to actually integrate Spotify maybe to their own product. That's going to be different. And if I just want to explain it to a normal user, my niece or someone, that how does Spotify work, that's when blogs come into picture. So, your writing will differ. And that's why I emphasized a lot on user personas, that your user personas define how technical can you go into a topic or how easy you have to make it. So that's what I wanted. That's the answer to this.
I guess that was all the question. There is a question that then SaaS articles comes under technical writing. Still the same question.
Um No, I understand what SAS means. It's just that I don't understand how is this a question, because again, as I tell, software software companies also have documentation. They have documentation for different services that they are providing, and even there you can integrate your knowledge of technical writing. So I'm, as I told, any and every company has it.
So yeah, there's a question from my side,
Yeah.
that as you said that you started as a Java developer. So
Yeah.
how that interest become into a technical content writer, and how matlab, what was the mindset shift and everything? What was the process? I wanted to know from you, like
Okay.
from a developer to a writer position. How was the journey
Yeah.
was, and how then you uplifted yourself? Like obviously it has been difficult from a developer you are going to a technical writer position, and then taking those skills and then working on it. So how was that all about?
Yeah, okay. So the thing is, I have always been a writer. I mean, from my class 7th, I remember as vividly as I remember, there was just an impromptu competition by some national essay writing agency. And that's when I won that competition from my entire school. And that's when I realized how much I love writing. And since then, I've been writing poems, articles, which have been actually published in a lot of magazines. But obviously, we didn't have a lot of exposure in the writing field. So I was compelled by my parents to do engineering, which I didn't want to do. But as everyone tells that, you realize your passion after you do your engineering. So that's what I did. And when I completed my engineering, I was on campus selected with Infosys. I started working as a Java developer with them. And while I was working, the location was also Chennai. And imagine what best I could make out of that location was, when I used to work in the office, I used to go back home and I used to write. So that was something that used to take out my entire anxiety of being in a location which not a lot of people liked. So that's how something I started building. And then I started writing on Quora, which was back then the best platform. Like right now we have LinkedIn. Quora was back then the most famous platform for writers. And I started writing a few answers on that platform, and few answers went viral. And I had a following of 11,000 or something. So then I realized, okay, this is something which is really intriguing. And one day I was talking to my best friend. She just said, you should just follow your passion. And that was back in 2015. And I was like, yeah, teko to kya dikkat hai, you can always say. But I took those words very seriously. And one day I just put down my papers. I started looking for jobs, how do writers work? Like, what are the jobs available for writers? And I shifted to Bangalore. I started working with a startup as a content writer. And while I was working as a content writer, that's when I realized. So, someone has already written this question also, that tool reviews. I think Souvik has written this tool reviews part. I was actually writing the same thing for that startup, and I never realized that it was actually technical writing what I was doing. So, the position I was given was content writing, but I was actually doing technical writing stuff where I was writing about self-driving cars, I was writing about tool reviews, and after 6 months or so, I started interviewing for other organizations, and one organization actually hired me as a tech writer. And I thought it's going to be similar, like, content writing, but it was not. So that's when I started learning on the job what technical writers do, what are the tools that they use. And it's so, so, so different. And it actually requires a lot of your brain strength as well. So that's how I switched to different streams. And now I'm working as a developer advocate with Google. So this is how it all shifted. Yeah.
The current position, what it exactly asks for, like what's your work is around, is it around technical writing, or like was it is around what it is exactly around?
So I was actually selected initially for a community manager role where we had to build communities around something. But when the first interview happened, I was telling them, so the interview involved a lot of case studies. And while I was giving them the answers, my few of my answers were very inclined towards technical writing. And they realized that, the position that we are interviewing you for can actually be for something else. And this is the product that they were building from scratch. It is a developer UGC program that they are building in Google. And so they shifted the entire interview scenario. And then after a series of a lot of interviews, I was selected. And now what we are trying to do is we are trying to build, it's a mix of communities plus technical writing. So you have to ask for, build a community of developers, as well as make sure that anything that is being built on Google technologies, which is open source, is being, curating and creating content for that and posting it on our platform. So this I have simplified it a lot, but the responsibilities are like, for like a lot. But this is the baseline of it, what I have to do.
There's a question that can I write technical article from the online courses that I learn, like express the content in my own way of
Oh,
what I have
sure,
learned?
sure. This is actually a very good way to explore technical writing. Like, I think Bhuvan had asked initially that, how do I start? So this is a very good way that involves both your learning and the implementation of that learning.
Okay. There's also a question that if I'm not wrong, copywriters can also become tech writers in the long run.
See, as I again said, being a technical writer involves your love for products or something related to that. If it involves that love, even if you're a copywriter, even if you're a content writer, even if you're a developer, nothing matters then. So you can always become a tech writer. But why I said that technical writers can become copywriters was only because of this point that we learn to write precise and concise content. And this is something that has worked for me because I know that I also have that creative knack where I wanted to explore copywriting. And when I started working for a few clients, I realized that, oh shit, this is working. I'm actually writing precisely, and my creativity is involved in using the words. So that mix somehow worked for me. So that's why I said that.
Okay, so the last question for the day. Any resources you want to share with us?
Oh, resources. There are a lot of resources, by the way. Also, I just want to inform that I am going to launch my ebook as well by this month end, maybe, which involves everything A to Z. And it is not very specific to technical writing. It is, the name of the book I have written in such a way that it is an intersection of various kinds of writing. Because what we see technical writers do is something, something related to technology, blah blah blah, but we never realize that this kind of writing will help us in every kind of writing. So I have like built a very excellent base for anyone who wants to become a writer. And I'm surely going to share it soon. And if you want a few resources, give me a second, I'll share a few resources with you guys. I'm just how to get it. Shobik, I'm going to share the link soon. And
Connect
that's
with
how
her
you
on
can get
LinkedIn.
it. Exactly. Oh, 1 minute. I'm just looking.
What I now do ना किसी के बारे में कुछ भी जानना हो LinkedIn से connect हो जाओ.
Exactly. Yeah.
You will
I'm
get to know
extremely
about everything.
extremely open on LinkedIn. Yeah. Like today's post can talk about it.
Could you tell us some profiles to follow
Profiles as in
for technical writer, like some technical writers like you, whom we can follow and learn from?
hello.
I'm audible.
Your voice is
I'm audible now.
yes. Now it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So he is asking that can you tell us some profiles for technical writers that whom we can follow and learn from
Oh,
on
okay.
Instagram, YouTube,
Oh
LinkedIn?
yeah. Actually, all the good tech writers that I know globally are not very active on LinkedIn. So I am part of a community called the Good Docs Project, which is on Slack. And that community has one of the amazing set of tech writers. Also, there is one more community. Yes, it's called Write the Docs. I'll share that link with you guys. That community is amazing. So if you really want to learn anything from scratch to any expert level, just join this community. You learn a lot. And this link, their website contains a lot of things which can get overwhelming if you are a beginner. So that's why I'm launching a book which can simplify things for you guys. On Twitter, on Twitter, I know a lot of developers. I don't know a lot of tech writers. Okay, I'll also give that link. So, first of all, this is one of the great resources which you guys should look. This is by Google only. Thank you, Aina. So sweet. This is one of the biggest and best resources that you can get online for free. So you can.
Someone asked, do you follow TechCrunch?
Oh yes. I have subscribed to the newsletters. I have subscribed to a lot of newsletters. Also, there is one more community on Reddit called FeedSpot, and even they have a lot of good content on tech writing, even for beginners.
Names in the chat box.
Okay, FeedSpot, the Reddit community for tech writers, so you can follow that. Okay, I think I do not want to overwhelm you guys, but you'll like the tech writers course that I've shared. You're going to like it.
Slack community name.
Slack. That's Write the Docs, the link that I shared initially. And I'm going to share one more. This contains everything. This link that I've just shared right now, this contains everything. So I didn't want to share this link because this might overwhelm you. So you can actually skip this last link, but you can just go through the tech writer course. Sorry?
You can go forward with step by step, right? Like taking one thing at a time and then working.
Exactly.
But
And if you really want to start, just
thousands of resources.
Yeah, you can just start with this tech writing course by Google. That's it. You do not need anything else if you really want to start.
On this note, I would like to end the session. Thank you so much, Ankita, for sparing your time and sharing so much resources and your knowledge with us. I hope you enjoyed the session as well.
Sure. It was good. There were some extremely good questions. I like that a lot. So thank you so much, guys, for joining.
Thank you, everyone, for joining and staying till the last. And thank you, Ankita.
Thank you.
Good night to everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. Bye.